mom brought to visit this weekend. Cosmo's like driving him nuts, like normal. 12-year-old versus 4-year-old, or 4-month-old. Take $1 million. Your plug was fall. Minnesota actually has a really beautiful fall. I wish I would have gotten more videos of it, because we have a lot of maple trees, and maple trees are the most beautiful things in fall. Red maples are just all this vibrant red. Sugar maples are every fall color you can think of, and just absolutely gorgeous. So I like fall in Minnesota a lot. I'm actually just going to dedicate this entire video to things I wish I would have known having gone to college, so you don't make the same mistakes I did. My plug is actually tips for college, so I hope you can use them, and I hope you enjoy them. Tip number 1, no matter where you're going, even if you're going to the college in Flagstaff, I would recommend you going and living on campus in the dorms for 1 year. Negating everything that I've said about my dislike for living on campus, it's still, an experience you should have, even if you don't like it. Like, I don't regret living on campus in Bemidji. Matter of fact, had I stayed in Bemidji, I probably would have lived on campus my entire time living in Bemidji, even though I couldn't stand it. It's hard to explain why, but it's just an experience you should have. Here, I just don't want to live on campus because it's insane. And, but, yeah, I think you definitely should live on campus for at least 1 year. Tip number 2, don't be afraid to write in your books. There's a reason why you buy them in college versus they are given to you by the professor. Along with that tip, my other piece of that tip is your highlighter is your best friend. And I recommend getting those highlighters with the little like Post-its that come out of it, because that just makes life a whole lot easier. But see, here's my film history book, and you can see that I've highlighted all kinds of stuff. It just makes studying a whole lot easier. Just highlight the important stuff so that you can study it a lot easier. Tip number 3 is make sure you do your generals first. Actually, I wish I would have thought about it differently and either done PSEO or basically going to college your last 2 years of high school at CLC in Brainerd, or just gone to CLC my first 2 years of college and then transferred and gotten my AA degree and transferred here, or transferred somewhere else with a good film department. But do your generals first, then you don't have to worry about it, and your last 2 years are pretty much heaven because you're studying what you want to study versus what you are being forced to study. So do your generals first. Hear that, Shine? Generals first. Selena, generals first. Chip, generals first. Do them first. Tip number 4 is, this is after you're in your major, don't always trust your advisor. When you officially have a major, your advisor will change. Generally, your advisor will be the head of the department of your major. Not all the time. Mine is not the head of the department. Mine used to be the head of the department, but then the head of the department left, and so they dispersed all of the film majors with the other 3 professors, and Chris just took my name. So, and I know when I was in Bemidji, the head of the theater department was my advisor. So, don't always trust them. Trust them with your major stuff because they'll know that stuff. But go to the advising center on campus for any of that other stuff, for graduation information or general information or any other kind of rule that you're not totally sure on. Go to them first. Tip number 5 is completely random. Just don't go to the cafeteria on campus. The student union is fine. Just don't go to the cafeteria where you actually have your meal plans for. Because you get sick of the food really fast because it's very high school cafeteria food, and you would have a lot of trouble actually finding something to eat because you're vegetarian. Tip number 6, get a voice recorder. There are some professors who won't write anything down for you to take notes on. So if you're like me and not really good at taking notes down through voice, get a voice recorder so you can study the actual professor speaking versus really bad notes. Tip number 7 is a big one. Do not transfer colleges unless you have some sort of degree you're transferring with. Colleges don't like when students transfer in or out. So even if they are related colleges like BSU and SCSU, their generals don't match and you're screwed. My first year in Bemidji was pretty much completely wasted. The only credit that transferred was my English general. That was it. Tip number 8, get work study and get it quick. Find a job on campus that you can do your homework while you work, like I worked at the library. It is really beneficial. The only downside is that it really kind of screws over your financial aid, so you generally have to get an extra loan in order to make sure that your school is paid off from the start, because you get a certain amount that you are rewarded, and then you work for it, and then you get it week by week. So that's really the only downside. Number 9, 15 credits or less a semester. Any more than that, and things can get pretty stressful. Both Jess and I have done more. I've done up to 20, and Jess has done up to 22. Yeah, it's nasty. Just to make sure you understand college credits, it's how many hours you spend in class per week. So a 3-credit class, you spend 3 hours a week. 4-credit class generally means you spend 4 hours a week in class. So the fact that I'm taking 15 credits this semester means I'm spending 15 hours a week in class. And 15 credits generally means about 5 classes. And finally, tip number 10. This is for right now. Don't freak out. It's actually not that bad. I know that you're stressed out because of all of the essays you have to do and all the applications you have to do. But you know what? Don't freak out. Because, the stress you're going through in high school right now with your AP classes, that's the worst it's going to get. I hope you liked your tips, and I hope you use at least some of them, if not all of them, to make your college experience better than mine was.